Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Wednesday, January 12th, 2021. Jeremy Crosby here, Andrew Bamlett running the board. We're both working from home when we can as we continue to try to be safe. And if the numbers up COVID across the state, we want to make sure everybody stays safe. And we'll give you some headlines today on keeping you safe, because that's what we do. You know, we're a sucker for safety here on Talking Fitchburg. And speaking of safety, and the reason I say we're both working from home, not just because I'm saying we're lucky that we can work from home, but we're going to talk about home safety. That's right. If you're a teleworker, which a lot of us became, whether we wanted to or not, we'll break it down on how to stay safe. I got a checklist that we'll go through today that will get you thinking about your tele setup. Yeah, we've moved our tele setup like a couple of times. You haven't been able to see it, but it's on its third move already in a year and a half, which is kind of interesting. Andrew too. You've moved a couple of times as well, so we're all trying to find the right space. Yeah, Andrew's gone to the kitchen table, to the living room, to the bedroom, to the he's been everywhere. I've been in the same space here, but we have a table down here. Then I bought a desk and put it over here, and now I'm over here next to the table with the desk. So I don't know, whatever works. But we'll talk about that. Plus, we're going to talk about those mobile app payments. If you use those like a Venmo, want to make sure you stay safe. DATCP will be here to break that down for us as well. But let's get you a couple of headlines, and we start with a crucial thing needed here. It's blood and donating blood. And we got a couple of local events coming up here that we want to make sure you get signed up for. So 2 different blood drives coming up. First one is going to be on January 22nd. It's a Saturday, 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And this is at the Floating Floor 5956 Executive Drive. That's the name of the building, in case you're wondering. And the appointments are preferred, but walk-ins are welcome. If you want to set up that appointment, you just got to dial 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcrossblood.org and enter the sponsor code BURNBOOTCAMP or search Fitch. I checked on this today, see how it works, and you can either type in the code word or just search Fitchburg, and you can see all of the upcoming blood drives coming up here in the area. We also have another one coming up at Black Hawk Church. This blood drive is on Tuesday, January 25th. It's from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Same things apply. Enter the sponsor code at the website to get signed up, or you can as well. Actually, this one looks like maybe just appointments. No, they do. Yeah, I think it's just appointments on that one. Either way, we would love to have you donate blood when you can. Our tax help at the Fitchburg Senior Center, that line is now open. If there are still spaces available, because this fills up fast, you need to call to set up that appointment at 608-270-4290. And one of the criteria is you have to come to the Senior Center 3 times. So make sure you understand that criteria, and you can ask about that when you call in at 608-270-4290, the Senior Center, to book your appointment. All right, some upcoming events and just fun things here. Let's start with this Frog and Fly craft game. Yeah, check this out. Became available today. A fresh take on a traditional ball and cup game. Visit the Fitchburg Library's Facebook page to learn how you can make your Frog and Fly craft game at home. Andrew, have you tried this yet? He's going to try it. We'll report back. We should get video of him doing that, by the way. Assuming it's the ball in the cup, right? Only it's a frog. All right, we'll have to check that out. Also, final survival kits are available at the library. Those became available today. If you got some teens that got their big finals coming up, well, starting today at the library in the teen center, they can come and pick up while supplies last. Those bags are available in the Fitchburg Public Library Teen Center. So check the teen center, the teen room, to pick up those bags. All right, turning our attention to support. If you are struggling right now or anytime, reach out for support. That's right. You can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-TALK or 8255. You can also text TALK to 741741 at the crisis text line. There is no shame around reaching out. You are not alone. So important. Just because we're out of the holiday season doesn't mean that we still don't need support. There's so many different things going on in life, and I'm going to try to keep putting in more information on how to reach out support, find help, and so much more because we're all in this together each and every day. No matter what's going on around us. So if you got any question, just call the line. It's a starting spot, and again, we'll share more information on getting help and just talking about different preventions. Switching to disasters that could happen anytime. It's a new year. It's time to plan those safety kits. Andrew reminds you that review your family communication plan, practice your evacuation routes together, and find games and activities to prepare the little ones. That's why I say Andrew, because he loves the games. So put a game together to help kind of explain how it works and getting in and out in disasters. I think community, all of these things are great things. There's so many things at ready.gov to help you plan for disasters, just being ready. And I think since this pandemic started, I think we've learned our lesson that we do need to be prepared for just about anything, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. So I'm not trying to be the doomsday or the bad news bearer, but I think it's important to plan and be ready. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we open up our digest. We are talking about home safety. That's right. If you are a teleworker, we want to help you stay safe at home. Got some ideas for you. Coming up next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me to bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Underlay in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Bob.
You know you can talk to me.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready!
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. We're in the digest, and today's digest is talking about look around us, right? Home office safety and security week. It's happening right now. Andrew, roll that beautiful bean footage. During the second full week in January, Home Office Safety and Security Week, at-home workers are encouraged to analyze the safety of their work environments. So important. You're like, Jeremy, come on. Well, I found some information that I think is pretty interesting here. And it's a checklist. And I think if you hadn't thought about some of these things, I think this might open your mind to, well, I can do better, right? I can make it easier. I can be safer. That's what we like to do here on TF. All right, Andrew, first one, general. So let's check. We've got different categories here for different scenarios. So first off, in general, yes or no to these. In this first one, Andrew and I talk about this all the time when we are talking via Zoom or whatever. Because I love background noise and he doesn't. So is your workplace away from noise, distractions, and devoted to your work needs? I say yes. Andrew would say no for me on that one. But that's part of the reason that I've moved my space around a little bit, and probably Andrew too, is just finding that place that works for you. And I think I'm lucky that the house that we have, and so glad that we can have that I have a space that I can walk away from. I think that's the most important thing to me. But it's just to walk away, and it's different when you're at home and you can't really get away from it. Like having it on the kitchen table, I can't even imagine, Andrew. Like you just look over there like, ugh, work. All right, workspace accommodations, workstation equipment, and related materials. Floors are clean and free of hazards. File drawers are not top heavy and do not open into walkways. Especially, you got to think of the kiddos not pulling down those on top of them. You've got phone lines, electrical cords that are secure and under desks along the wall and away from heat sources. Temperatures, ventilation, lighting are adequate. Yeah, do you have enough lighting? I had to add lighting here for this broadcast, but that's a different story. All stairs with 4 or more steps are equipped with handrails, and carpets are well secured to the floor and are not fraying or worn. These are all things to think about in your workspace. All right, next one. We'll talk in a little fire safety. Is there working smoke detectors in your workspace area? Yeah, so important. At-home multi-use fire extinguisher, which you know how to use and is readily available. Walk-in aisles, doorways, or you've got unobstructed areas. Make sure you can get out. Do you even have a fire plan? If you plan that out, that's so important. Workspace is kept free of trash, clutter, and flammable liquids. All radiators and portable heaters are located away from flammable items, and you have an evacuation plan in case of a fire. We practice it at work all the time, but have you practiced it at home? Especially if you're working from home now and you never really thought about it. Good thing to think of. All right, moving on. We've got electrical safety, and I think this one's huge. It goes right along with fire safety. Sufficient electrical outlets are accessible. Yeah, we're not plugging in like the Christmas Story and plugging in 200 things into one outlet. Computer equipment is connected to a surge protector. So important. Electrical system is adequate for the office equipment. Electrical plugins, cords, outlets, and panels are in good condition, not exposed to or damaged, or wiring is showing. Yeah, not a good thing. Make sure if you haven't cleaned that up, you're in an unfinished basement, for example. It might be one of those areas where you're like, ooh, I probably should get that fixed and covered up. Extension cords or power strips are not daisy chained. You cannot connect those together. Not a good idea. Those will heat up and burn out. Equipment is turned off when they're not in use. How many times do we leave our computer and just walk away? Got to be careful with that thing. And especially when we talk about security, which is coming up. Moving on here, then we've got is it the other? Oh, yeah, here we go. Computer workstation. Chairs, caster's wheels are all secure and sturdy enough for the rug. Chair is adjustable. Is your back adequately supported? I've got a pillow behind me because I bought a wrong chair here that I have to continue to suffer with, but we'll talk about that a different day. Your feet are on the floor and adequately supported. You have enough leg room at your desk. There is sufficient lighting for reading. Your computer screen is free from glare. That was one of the reasons I had to move it, because when I was doing my meetings, the camera, when I'm off air and doing my camera off my computer, I was getting a window flare all the time. So move that, and a light flare at that. The top of the screen is at eye level, and the space to rest your arms while you gotta have some space to work, right? So just making sure those things are important setup, very, very important. In some places, they might even let you bring your desk chair at home. So you can check into your work policies on that. All right, finally, moving on here. Just some other considerations. Files and data, are they secure? Have you thought about that at home plan? Definitely important to check in with your office place. Make sure that you know the plan and you know what files, like, again, if you're leaving your computer on, can people log in and get on there? You don't know what material. Maybe those materials are protected. You got to be careful with that. Materials and equipment are a secure place that can be protected from damage and misuse. You have an inventory of all the equipment in office, including serial numbers. And if applicable, do use up-to-date antivirus software. Keep virus. You got to keep those things up to date. And I would definitely say, work with your IT departments for sure. know those policies and procedures. Stay safe at home. I told you it's a pretty interesting checklist. It really opens up your mind and thinking twice about home safety. So pretty cool event for the week. All right, let's close up that chapter and let's open up our next segment. We're going to be talking more safety tips. We're going to be talking about those app payment things like Venmo and making sure you use those safely. That's next right here on TF.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Department of Aid, Trade Consumer Protection. We've got Laura. She's back and she's ready to protect you from the latest mobile apps scam. You've got it all. I mean, you've got it all. And welcome back to the show. How are you doing first? Let's check in.
I'm good. I'm enjoying the holiday season. I got a kid home from college and another on the way. So I'm excited to have my birdies back in the nest.
Absolutely. Great time of year. Yeah. That's about the best thing is, I'm human with setting up the stockings and stuff. You can see that from the background. But today we're going to talk about mobile app payments. And we're going to talk about a couple different things in the mobile world. Certainly a lot easier ways of shopping around and using apps instead of going to the websites. Basically shortcuts to websites, more or less. But spotting scams against these things are super important. And you're going to give us kind of a good overview today of a couple of different scams out there. But first and foremost, mobile payment apps. What would you tell us about those and why should we even be talking about it?
Well, so mobile payment apps started out as a sort of a peer-to-peer payment form. So they were envisioned as paying your friends and your family and people that you knew. They have quickly turned into more than that and methods of payment for concert tickets, sporting events, purchasing something in a social marketplace. And they're very convenient because it's a quick way in which you can move money through your phone, but they're very difficult to provide the kind of protection you need if the person on the other end of that transaction is a scammer. So one of the concerns that we're raising for folks is if you use a mobile payment app, when you're engaging with the seller that you can't verify, there's very little you can do to get that money back. People can set up through a fake name and Google Voice a totally untraceable mobile app platform or mobile app profile. And once that happens, if you pay that person through that mobile app, there's really nothing you can do about getting that money back because it's untraceable, those individuals. So our suggestion is if you're using the mobile app to pay a seller, verify that seller. Make sure that it's a seller that you know they exist, that they have perhaps a brick and mortar somewhere. You've done your homework to figure out whether or not this is a legitimate seller. If you can't verify that seller, you might consider not working with them at all. But if you do, use a form of payment like a credit card that has some fraud protection attached to it. The mobile payment apps make that a little bit more difficult and are not necessarily as secure as your basic credit card.
Yeah, and if you think you've been scammed out, where do you start? Like, or you've been scammed out, you've been scammed. I know, scammed out. There's a new word for the year. Jeepers. What do you do if you have lost that money? How would you start the process of getting it back if you can?
Well, so these mobile payment apps are backed by either a debit card or a credit card. If you have it attached to your banking account, that's actually even more problematic, obviously, because the money is gone. If you have it attached to a credit card, you can then work with your credit card company and try to address it that way, because they have some fraud protection. If you've purchased something and you didn't get it, your credit card fraud protection often can be a good resolution to that. But if you're attaching it to your bank account, that then becomes much more complicated and not very safe. So again, our suggestion is know who the person is that you're working with. If you're going to use one of these apps, don't back the app with a bank with direct access to your banking account, but use a credit card instead. And if you can't verify the seller, go ahead and think about not working with them or not using a payment app at all.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier and safer that way, certainly. And I like saying do your homework is super important on these to make sure it's legit. You had another a scam to talk about, sort of in the same lines from Google. Is that correct?
That's right. So social marketplace scams, and they can often be partnered with this mobile app payment form. But in any event, social marketplace, again, it started as a lot of these social marketplace places where you can purchase things on social media started with this idea that you're purchasing something from someone in your neighborhood or someone that, in your geographical region. Well, they've quickly become much broader, and you can buy things from all over the country and perhaps the world. The reality is those sellers oftentimes are sellers that you don't know, and they can be very difficult to verify. We are getting a lot of complaints about fake sellers or just really shoddy merchandise. So, you're shopping and you're looking for that great jersey for your nephew or your grandson, and it's super expensive, and lo and behold, on your social marketplace it pops up as at a dream price, and they can get it to you tomorrow. Well, guess what? That's probably a scam, and they probably don't have the jersey that you're looking for, or they have some sort of counterfeit jersey that's not as worth what you're looking for. And so those are the complaints we're getting, and people need to be careful for that. So again, do your homework. Research the vendor. If it's a lot of money that you're spending, we think you should think twice before doing that kind of transaction with a vendor that you cannot verify. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, and you shouldn't engage. Absolutely. One of the other things that has come out of this, and scammers are always one step ahead, it seems. So I keep talking about authenticate the vendor, figure out who the vendor is. Well, one way you can do that is through, or one way people suggest you can do it is through this dual factor authentication. Really great to have dual factor authentication, but let me tell you a scam that is perked up that piggybacks on dual factor authentication. The scam works like this. There is a consumer there. You're the seller in this instance, and someone online calls you and purports to want to buy what you're selling. And they say, but we want to authenticate your real. So they use some information from you to set up a Google Voice account, and they do the authentication of that Google Voice account by getting your phone number and having the code texted to your cell phone, and then they ask you for that code, and you give them that code, and then they have set up a Google Voice phone number in your name. What that means is they're using your name and that Google Voice number to purport to commit further scams against other people. So what should you do to avoid that? Never, ever, ever give out those authentication codes to anybody. When you see an authentication code, it says, don't share this with anybody, and
Right.
read that and believe it and follow those rules. Certainly don't share these things with people you don't know or you just met or online and you're trying to buy something. I think that's just the takeaway altogether. The scammers are getting more and more sophisticated. They're going to build your trust. They're going to tell you, oh, here's why you should trust me. And as human beings, we want to trust people. But the reality is these scams all sort of come down to the same kind of formula. They're going to try to steal your money or your identity. And they're going to do it by getting personal identifying information from you, like this code, or they're going to get your money by a gift card. So, you might be having these really nice conversations with somebody, and then they do that red flag. Oh, well, can you send me that money in a gift card? Or, oh, can I have that authentication code that everyone tells you should not share? Don't share it. Hang up the phone, disconnect that email exchange, and ignore those kinds of solicitations.
It just takes the fun out of the holiday season, that these scammers are something else, and people want to do the right thing, but can get taken advantage of in so many different ways. So, I encourage you still to, use the technology that's out there, but you got to do your homework. And the things that you shared today, Laura, I think are great starting points to again, spot those red flags and stop from being scammed. And it's good to note that you're getting reports. I think that's always the nice part of when we catch up with you is this is happening right here in our backyard, folks. So it's not that she's telling you that we be worried. You need to be worried about this, but knowing it's actively happening, I think is always a plus. So appreciate the information. If people want to learn more about this or any scams or what you folks can do to help at DATCP, how can they find you?
So first, Jeremy, we are so happy to always be here so they can find information about us here. So thanks for having us on all the time. But they can call us at 1-800-422-7128 and talk to our experts on our hotline. They can visit our website at datcp.wi.gov, and they can email us at dadcaphotline@wisconsin.gov.
Well, thank you and your staff for helping us out all year long. We look forward to continuing into next year. And hopefully, if we could just stop one scam or one person from losing their identity, money, something, then I know we've done something right. But we'll continue to educate day in and day out, darn it.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. Happy holidays, and we'll check in with you next year. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for today, I want to thank Laura from the Department of Trade and Consumer Protection. We'll check back in with that group this month. So excited. We're going to have some great topics to talk about, and appreciate their time, as always, for helping us off in staying safe. And we'll get both of, that interview is already online. We'll get the earlier home safety talk online later today, thanks to Bamlet. And where does he post those? Right? Yeah, there. Yeah, Facebook and YouTube. We got those posted up every day. Post up the headlines and videos. So for his sake, check it out.